There's like all sorts of things that we can pretend that people might be thinking about as, prospects and clients. But until we go in and have these like really in-depth conversations, we're making assumptions and projections as to what might be going on.
As a salesperson in this industry, every opportunity to bid is an opportunity to make a deal because of that flexibility.
Until as a sales rep, you framed it in your own mind as a positive, you can't frame it in the client's mind as a positive, because nothing that happens afterwards is going to work if you don't actually believe that it's in their best interest, perhaps.
Welcome to Price, Sell, Paint, the go-to podcast for painting contractors and sales professionals in the painting industry. Hosted by industry experts Jon Bryant and Michael Murray. This podcast is proudly powered by PaintScout, your partner in painting success.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Price, Sell, Paint podcast. I'm Michael Murray. I'm joined by Jon Bryant. Today we're really excited to really specifically talk to sales reps in the painting industry as we are headed into like that late summer, fall. What are we supposed to be doing if we're already pretty close to booked up for our exterior season? And how do we handle maybe some of those challenges? And so that's what Jon and I are going to be talking about today. Jon, good to see you as always. How are things going in your world?
Yeah, great, Michael. It's been just an awesome day. I was up early today, and I'm not a morning person, so I feel like, we record the podcast at, 11 a.m. I feel like it's almost time for bed. So I'm gonna bring the energy, but I've been up in my mind way too long already today. So, but I do that to myself every Friday. So I wake up early, mostly because I told someone else I would do it. So yeah, doing good.
Like a workout partner in the morning, or what do we got going on?
I play tennis. I play tennis Friday mornings.
There you go.
And it's with all of my retired friends. And they can't sleep past 4 a.m. So they're up and ready to go. They're super excited to hit the day. I mean, they're in bed by 6 p.m. too. So like it all works out, but anyways, that's
don't
all
make fun of my people. Don't make fun of people like me.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Yeah, it's crazy that, summer's kind of starting to head towards a conclusion here. And yeah, like mindset. I mean, the mindset that we're going to talk about it's just so crazy. It's the hardest part about being a sales rep. There's times of year where it's like complete famine. There's times of year where it's complete feast. There's times of year where we're selling a project today and painting it in a week or two. And there's times of year where we selling projects and we're booked out for 2 or 3 months. And it's like, it's hard. Definitely is hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And today, I mean, we're specifically talking today about the period of time when the schedule is pretty booked. We're at the end of the exterior season. You're getting those stragglers coming in being like, I need my, the exterior of my 40,000 square foot warehouse painted before the snow flies. And it's like, dude, it's supposed to snow fly. I'm like, the snow flies on Tuesday and it's Sunday. So you're getting those, but ultimately, like they're if you've done this in long enough, you know that you're pretty booked up kind of August into the fall for exterior projects. Like if you're in the Northern Hemisphere like us, if you're in the South, we'd love to have your life. It sounds glorious, but it's just not the reality. I want to become a small part owner of a painting company in like the South. And I just want to go down there and just help them to be as successful as possible in like January, February, March, and April. So if anybody's interested, shoot me a message. I'll give me that. I have some write-offs for all the travel I want to do down to that part of the country that time of year. Your emotional well-being would be a lot better, I bet.
Oh my God.
So yeah, but if you're if you're a sales rep listening, like you've got customers still calling you. You've got the 40,000 square foot person. You've got people who don't understand, and no fault of their own, like what the cutoffs are for temperature and that kind of stuff. Yeah, and so you got that coming, but you've got this period of time where you feel like you can't sell.
Yeah.
And we want to talk a little bit about some of the strategies that you can use to still sell, to always be selling, always be closing, and what you can do to make this so much better and more helpful for you and for customers. So I know you got a few ideas, Michael. Let's talk about them.
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest one is just like not accepting that as a sales rep as like your excuse as to why you're not going to sell. So the production team's booked out, too far, whatever too far is in your world. And I think like this gets back to like that mindset. We talked, I did that PaintScout X presentation on like money mindset. This one's going to be kind of almost like a schedule mindset. It really is like made up in your own mind that, nobody wants to wait more than blank. 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever, 4 weeks. I don't know, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe it's 2 weeks. I don't know. And it's like, yeah, okay, maybe that is a story that you are telling yourself, and it will become your reality the more you try to tell yourself that. But I can also say is that there are people in the home improvement industry at large, and the painting industry more specific, that are selling work and customers are waiting 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever that looks like. And they're still out crushing it, and they're still out doing well, and they're finding strategies to be successful. So again, I think it starts with a mindset, and then we can talk about like specific tactics. What would you say regarding the mindset that it takes to be successful here?
I think that it's the mindset is positivity and understanding that the customer is flexible more than they might give off. And I think everybody wants it done now, but when now isn't possible, now we're in a negotiation. It's like, hey, we'd love to help you, but let's talk about options to make this work for everybody. We've always had a theory that towards the end of the exterior season, we want to be selling work for next year. We want May and June to be as full as possible in September and October. So we're actively having that discussion with customers, and it has to do with rushing before the end of the year. It has to do with potentially a discount for waiting, but we want these areas of the year to be stacked so that we can bring on a lot of staff, and that was always the theory. So that mindset is that we need to always have an option available for every customer that contacts us. And timing, although they say they want it done tomorrow, there is a lot of flexibility that they might not even realize they had until we start talking about it. And so I think as a sales rep, we need to, again, so stay positive and understand that you're delivering solutions that meet the customer's needs.
Yep.
So I don't know. That's my belief. Does that resonate with you, Michael?
Yeah, I think it's, it comes back to like understanding like your job as a sales rep is to solve a problem. Sometimes that problem is like, why should a customer pay more? And you need to be able to answer that question and for them. In this scenario, what we're describing is why should a customer wait? What is like the reason that you're going to give them to wait for you versus maybe go with somebody else who can get it done sooner? And that makes your job as a sales rep a little bit harder. Again, just like maybe having a higher price can, but it doesn't make it impossible. It just means you've got to up your game a little bit as a sales rep to be able to better understand the customer's ultimate goals. Maybe their goal is to have like the highest quality, longest lasting paint job. And I would be willing to wait a little bit to accomplish that goal. Maybe to your point you just mentioned a minute ago in terms of discounting, maybe their goal is to have like this awesome quality job and experience and to save a few bucks if they can, in which case schedule isn't maybe the most important thing. And again, I think it, just like every other sales conversation we've ever had, it really comes back to like asking great questions and really getting to the bottom of like, what is it ultimately that the customer wants? There are times that we meet with people who schedule is like the most pressing concern. I'm about to put my house on the market. It has to go up in this time because we have to move and I need this thing done. Or maybe to your commercial example, like I have to get this painted this year for tax purposes. I've got to get this invoice taken care of this year so that we can get this off our books and things like that. I'm like zero chance I'm waiting until next year. I'll get this painted literally when it's snowing out. And I don't care if the paint job lasts and like whatever. That's crazy, but people do that because I'll see like people out painting in 35-degree weather at the end of the season. I'm like, what are we doing? And things like that. So again, there's like all sorts of things that we can pretend that people might be thinking about as, prospects and clients. But until we go in and have these like really in-depth conversations, we're making assumptions and projections as to what might be going on.
Absolutely. So I want to add to that just slightly. So I think there's also an opportunity here. And a lot of us, like you said, there's a mindset around selling. around money mindset, and schedule mindset is just as prevalent, I think.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us see schedule like you have to wait as a negative. There's a way to position all of this that's actually very positive and fits in fits in well with human nature, which is that you're in high demand. And when you're in high demand, there must be something really good about you. And so it comes off in the way that we present these things, like these options to customers, where it's like, if you feel bad about the schedule, like, oh, I'm really sorry, we can't help you in the 2 weeks that I think is reasonable, then you run the risk of setting that up in their minds as it's not reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you come at it as, hey, we are the best option out there, customers know that, the community knows that, we have incredible demand for our services because of XYZ. And you know what? Like, waiting until the spring is going to be great for you. It's a great time of year to paint. We're going to have time to really figure out the colors and really set that experience up for you. That's a great way of positioning that delay so that you're not you're not setting it up in their mind as a negative. It's actually a positive. And I think that's really critical in these discussions. And even if you are offering a discount, there's so many great reasons to work with our company. And here's why.
Yeah, no, again, and it's just like framing it until, I would say, like I've said this a few times, I think, but until as a sales rep, you framed it in your own mind as a positive, you can't frame it in the client's mind as a positive. It's just like, you can't, when you're not talking from a genuine perspective to a prospective client, it is obvious. And it's just in the way that your tone is, your body language, all of the things, versus like somebody who's confident that, whatever, it's October, we're booked up for the season. We'd love to get you on our schedule, and like, let's talk about what that looks like come April or May or whenever you guys start based on where you live, as opposed to like, well, I'm sure you wanted it done this year, but sorry, like, our production team, we just can't handle any more work because, whatever, we just don't have enough painters. So, probably not gonna be able to help you on this one. And it's just like, we're already defeated. Anyway, so I think, again, I just keep going back to that like mental side of things, because nothing that happens afterwards is going to work if you don't actually believe that it's in their best interest, perhaps.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now let's maybe talk a bit about the, like, how to position this as well from a discounting point of view. And I know we've talked about this in a number of other episodes. Discount, no discount. Does it matter? Does it not matter? And I think anytime you're asking someone to wait, you have to sometimes give good reasons, whether, like we just talked about, like the value of waiting, the value of your company, but there's also an opportunity, at least we've seen, to give some further incentive. And we've talked about this, but
I think
you use this.
Yeah. So I would say, yes. The biggest thing to me is, before we get to the situation. So I'm going to back up just like half a step. So, you can see, let's just call it, maybe it's like July, August, you see like kind of, hey, I see where this is going, right? Let's just say on August 1st, you're normally booked out for 2 months. So let's call that like end of September. And let's just pretend like end of October is kind of like the end of your season. And so you have about a month's worth of work left to book. At this point, if you haven't raised your price from whatever you were selling it at in like May and June, that's a problem. So like, first and foremost, start there. I would say, like, the way that I've always thought about it is, if you book a project with us after August 1st, 15th, somewhere in that range, depending on how the year's going, you're paying next year's rate. Mm-hmm. Right. And so, like, we all know, paint prices go up, labor prices go up, cost of benefits go up, insurance goes up. Like, all those things typically happen sometime in like that, winter, as the calendar changes, things like that. And so as we get to next season, my price is going to be something higher, typically, I don't know, 5 to 10% or whatever, just like inflation and all the things that are happening. And so I just try to get ahead of that before we have booked up this entire season, because I have only a handful of slots left in this year. And if you want one of those slots, you're going to pay a premium, at least, and maybe more than what it would cost to just do it next year if you called me next spring.
Yeah.
So that's like first and foremost. I think it sounds like you agree with that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's been our theory as well.
And so then from there, I'm now discounting potentially for next year. And like similarly, I would say is like, so let's just pretend it's August 1st. I'm out doing an estimate, and I would say to somebody, here's your price. It's $10,000 or whatever, $20,000 to paint the outside of your house or whatever that looks like for you. And we can get it done. I've got two options. I can get that done for you this year in August. I can still like get you in. Or if you're willing to wait until the spring, I might be able to take a few bucks off for you.
Mhm.
Could save you a little bit of money here. Is that kind of how you would think about that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly the same. And it's proven to be very helpful to give customers options. And I think we've talked about this in other episodes as well, just like allowing the customer to have control of and understand what's available to them is really, really helpful. So if you're more price sensitive and you say like, oh, I mean, these guys are really high demand and I get a discount, so I get two of my values are met because they seem like quality, trustworthy contractors and the price is lower, I'll go with them next year. Then you're still getting that customer who may be a good customer, but they have different values. And so anytime you can offer benefits to the customer that also benefit you and have that positive exchange, I see as positive.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the counterpoint here is like, don't ever discount. Don't ever do that stuff, doing a disservice to everybody. And I don't believe that, but I know it's people who are listening may have that perspective.
They're wrong.
They're wrong. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just simply wrong. Moving on.
I don't know. I mean, yeah. Find me a Fortune 500 company that doesn't discount like as part of a intentional strategy. And I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It's good enough for all the biggest and best companies in every other industry.
There was a company that did like straightforward pricing one time. I think it was maybe JCPenney, I want to say. And they rounded off all of their prices to just be like $5, $10. It wasn't like 99 cents, 98 cents, whatever. And it was like no sales, just straight like $20. Here's the item. We're going to give you the best price. And what do you think happened?
I'm guessing people didn't buy because it wasn't $19.99.
There you go. Yeah, people didn't buy because people, as much as we say it's like we understand the game, we still love being able to get a deal.
Yeah.
And that so like when you understand that mindset, it's like, okay, well, how do we allow our customers to still get that joy? And we've talked about it before, but it's a never give without getting type situation. Pricing is different at different times of year. There's a few things you have to understand, because if you're just same price throughout the year, discount off it, yeah, you're going to be giving away way too much. You got to understand your numbers to do that.
I was just going to say, most people don't have any idea how much they're supposed to charge. So like, if I don't have any idea how I'm supposed to charge, how would I ever know if I should give a discount? Because like, yeah, you're probably like, yes, probably shouldn't discount. If you aren't confident that you're charging at a like premium rate to afford to run the business that you want to run and, handle the risk that it comes with running a business like this and all that, then like, sure, yes, I can see that. But I think if you've got all those things nailed in, then discounting can and should be a part of your strategy. It's a tool in the tool belt. I wouldn't use the hammer to put the screw in. I wouldn't use a screwdriver to put the hammer in. And I don't think discounting solves for everything. But it is a tool that, when used correctly, can help to run a better, more profitable, faster growing, whatever the goals are, kind of a business.
Happier customers, right?
Yeah.
As well.
For sure. Yeah.
Because
that's a good point. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, obviously this episode really is geared towards sales reps. That's probably too much background on pricing, but I think whether you have the option to discount or not, it still holds true that mindset really plays a major factor in how we deliver the information, and how when it comes down to these times of year where you feel like there's no options, you need to check yourself and realize there's actually lots of options for the customer. There's lots of things that can benefit them.
Yeah, and I just want to put one more little point on the discounting thing, right? One of the reasons to discount is, so let's go with this exterior. We're selling exterior in the late summer, fall, and maybe somebody waits until next spring, either because they got a discount or just because we're booked for the year and you're that good of a sales rep and you're just like, yeah, like don't go with a competitor who can come and paint this in 35-degree weather in November or December, but actually just wait until the spring and we're going to give you a better end result. What that does now from a company-wide perspective is it gives you confidence going into like January, February, March, April, that we can go hire additional staff because we've got work coming up on the schedule once we get outside. It also gives us confidence that we can maybe raise our price, which with a higher price, maybe I can pay my sales reps more and all the things, right? So we can bring this all back to the sales rep, if you will. But part of this is really just being in a position of like strength. When you have work on your calendar that is booked, it's a good thing. And I think, again, it comes back to like that psychology of, is it good to be booked out or not? And there is a perfect like sweet spot. It definitely does affect your ability to sell jobs when you're booked out too far. But again, in our industry, because most people don't have any like tight deadlines, it's not too big of a deal.
Yeah. Awesome.
I've had these conversations with a buddy of mine who owns a moving company. And it is like, it's wild because in the moving industry, people have like very specific dates. We have to be out of our house on, September 21st. And on September 22nd, we're moving into the new house. And it's just like the title's transferring, the keys are transferring, like it's got to happen. And if you don't have that available date, I'm calling somebody else. And there's no like, yeah, but we're booked that day. But if you can wait until the following week, I could give you a better price.
Could you wait till next spring?
Right. And I'm just like, I can't even imagine, because like that would just be so hard to try to like, for so many reasons, I guess. But yeah. I would much rather deal with our problem than with that problem. Personally.
Yeah, we have so much flexibility, and we've talked about this before, but like the idea of taking advantage of demand while demand's available and trying to convert that demand into something, whether that's winter work or something for next spring. I think as a salesperson in this industry, every opportunity to bid is an opportunity to make a deal because of that flexibility. And if our businesses are running correctly, we are setting ourselves up to give opportunities to our team to actually win that work and give options to our customers and be the best solution. Yeah. And a lot of that, happens in summer, right? Like the best time I think to try to make a deal with the customer is when you're feeling like you have a lot of power in the negotiation. It's like, I don't need the work. Then I can be the most honest, helpful, transparent. I'm not pressured into trying to sell it. And there's a lot of freedom to that once you get to that point of like, well, I don't need this work, but here's what we can do. It's amazing how people are drawn to that feeling of not selling, just being helpful. And it's very different from the other experience you're getting where it's someone coming in or not calling them back. But someone coming in being like, well, here's your price. You want to do it? Or not getting the callbacks, chasing people around. At least if we're professional and we go in and do that, provide them the service, provide them the options, I think there's still a high likelihood they might want to work with us.
Yeah, I think that one last little thing, it's probably more for the business owners, but it's like we try to increase our capacity by, really maybe incentivizing overtime, incentivizing like our crews to work more in the fall. If you work with subcontractors, it's, perhaps it's finding additional subcontractors in the fall and things like that. But that's not maybe the reality. And, as a sales rep, like you can only control what you can control. And I think it's, finding ways to build lifelong relationships where we can, like you just said, like come at it from a like consultative approach. And even if you can't book this project, you've done such a good job of building that good relationship that they're going to want to talk to you again for whatever that next project might be.
You create so much fear, uncertainty, and doubt that they can't not wait 2 years for your services.
2 years is a long time. Don't recommend.
What kind of discount would you give if someone waited 2 years?
Probably none, because at that point I'm like, you're probably already getting a 20% discount or whatever the heck with inflation lately. I don't. It's like,
I mean, it's a funny concept though to go in and be like, so I see you want to do this today, but how about we do this in 2030? And
we had a customer who pushed our project off for more than a year though. We just held on to a deposit for more than a year because she was like, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready. And we're like, do you want your deposit back? Like, this is silly. She's like, no, you guys will definitely do the work. Like, our accountant's loving this right now. Like, this isn't good.
I hope you bought Bitcoin with it.
Yeah, I'm not that smart.
Fantastic. Well, I think that that pretty well covers it on my end.
Yeah, again, we had said, hey, let's make this for reps, and I hope we focus there. We wanted to keep it short. I think, again, it is like do what you can do to the best of your ability, controlling what you can control. You can't control all the outcomes. You can absolutely go sell stuff for next year or whatever that might look like, even when you're booked out for way too long. So yeah, and just making sure that whatever you are booking is booking at like the highest rate possible. That you are, you're not gouging anybody, but you're not like undercutting anything, so that you're giving your production team really good opportunities to win.
Love it. Thanks, Michael.
Good stuff. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
This podcast is proudly powered by PaintScout, your partner in painting success.